Good morning, guys. Today is March 28, 2017. I took yesterday off due to some schoolwork, but also just because I had a rough week last week, trading. The previous week was pretty good, but last week, I made some errors, some stupid mistakes. HTGM was one of the big trades last week. The stock went from, threes all the way up to 12s, I think, in 2 days. And I messed up. I lost about 4 times on it. It wasn't huge amounts that I lost, but I still lost, and I just wasn't able to trade it, and it was really frustrating for me. So, took the weekend, cleared my head. Yesterday, just kind of took it, due to schoolwork, I was like, you know what, it's just better if I don't trade today. Let the markets kind of figure out what's going on. Because, yesterday there were a lot of sympathy plays because of HTGM, but they were just kind of, one spike up and then there's no follow through. So, I felt like I could have messed up on those because I could have, chased them, or I could have just, I'm still new. So, there's some things that I just still don't control, still can't control. Because of that, sometimes I mess up. So I'm glad I took yesterday off. Today I feel, prepared. I had a good sleep, woke up on time, and I'm ready to take on today and see what happens. So first on our watch list is RXII. It has a float of 5.54 million. It was a there was a catalyst out this morning that they were granted a patent in Japan for their technology. It's up about 40% pre-market. The pre-market high is 122. Does have a potential, but it needs to be careful because I don't want to chase on this, and I don't want to buy at resistance. So now this stock is kind of hanging below this 110 area, consolidating below this 110 area, which is okay. One seems to be support on this stock right now pre-market. So what I would like to see is, once the market open, I would like to see it dip down to 1, and if it holds, I will look to jump in for either red to green move or potential break of 110, and then my exit would be below 1, break of 1, and then back of the mine target is 122, and then break of that, we could potentially open up some room down to up to the 140s, 150s. So that's back of the mine target 150, but first target to break is 122 if I do jump in at 110, and my with a 10-cent stop loss. Next thing I'm watching is HPJ. HPJ is a earnings winner. And it also made a 52-week or 52 days new high. So the stock has been kind of strong recently. It's been moving up and then kind of consolidated. And today they came out with earnings, and pre-market basically it jumped from below 3s up to the 445s, and now it's kind of consolidating just below that level. What I do want to see on this is, I don't want to chase the stock. I don't want to buy it too high since it is an earnings win, and it is pretty extended on the RSI and also on the chart itself. So what I would like to see is dip and hold 4. If this dips at the market open and it holds 4, I would look to jump in 405, something like that. And it is a 5-cent tick in category, so it's gonna move in 5 cents increments. So if it does dip down to 4, I'll look to jump in. If 4 holds, and then the back of the mine target is break of 445, and then that could actually open up room all the way up to the 5s. It's pretty clear on the chart here. Up to the 5s here, 490s, 480s. So that would be the back of the mine target. The first target is basically 445. If I get in at 4, if it breaks 445 on good volume, then I'll look to see a confirmation of that break, and then I'll look to buy in on the dip. HPJ, I'm only looking to get in on dips just because it's a 5-cent increment stock. So if this drops, I'm down 5 cents instantly. So whether I get in on the ask or even on the bid, if it drops, the bid drops, I'm down 5 cents instantly. So that's what we have to be careful on this stock. The last one we have is PIP. PIP is a bit high float stock that I'm watching today. It has a float of 65.11 million, but it did receive a $7.3 million contract this morning. This like I said, it's a little high float stock, but with low RSI. The RSI is below 50, and a catalyst, it could have potential, but from previous days we see that it needs lots of volume to move about 50 cents. So I'm a little iffy on that. On the good days with lots of volume. I mean, this day, there was volume of about 79 million, and it moved about 50 cents. About 86 to 147, maybe about 60 cents. But so I have to be careful. For this, I'm only looking for maybe 10, maybe 15 to 20 cents on this. Nothing. I'm not gonna go for a bigger move on this, just because I feel like it's a high float. So if I'm up 20 cents, I'm gonna lock in my profits, and I'm good with that. Other than that, guys, we do have NAKD and GBR on watch. NAKD, there's no catalyst, but I feel like with a bunch of low floaters running yesterday, last week, NAKD could be something that could have the potential to run today. So my play on this would be basically break of 250, with a stop loss of 240. Back of the mine target is basically 3. That's pretty much the basics of what I'm looking for. GBR, I'm looking to see if it can get back up to the 270s. If it breaks 270, which is yesterday's close, I could potentially look to jump in if there's good volume coming into this stock, and then look to sell basically on the break of 3. So that would be the potential on this stock. So anyways, the markets are gonna go open in about 15 seconds here. So I'll pause this video. I'll come back once I have something lined up. RXII, guys, I just tried getting in actually at what was it, my order, at 101. I just didn't get executed. Basically what I was looking for on this is this little first green candle to make a new high on this pullback after the volume. Volume slowed down on the pullbacks, and that's where I jumped in for. But again, you know what, it got stuck at 106 again. So I don't know if I like that. So we'll just be watching it, see what happens. HPJ is hanging around 4. So that's something else that I'm watching. $9.30. So the next candle is gonna, on the 5 minutes, gonna open at 9:35, and we'll see if this candle can break this 106, and then we can potentially get in for that if it breaks 106. So I'll bring you guys back in. Okay, I just got in my 106 basically, and then now it's running. So we're looking for a break of 110 here. See if he can take out 110. If 110 gets taken out, then we'll basically be, we'll open up some room. And since I got in at 106, I'll basically get out if it goes below 1 again. Obviously, we don't want to see it go below 1 now. We want to see it keep pushing here. If we can take out 110, the back of the mine target again is 122. So we'll see what happens for that. Again, 109, there you go. Let's take out 109 here, 110. There you go, 110. There you go, 112. So that's what we're looking for. We want to see now if we can basically get back up to 122, which is the pre-market high. There's definitely more volume coming in on the buying candles than there is on the pullback candles, but we do want to see it. We do want to see it run. We don't want to see it basically drop below this 105 level, whatever. If it does, then we'll basically look to it's a little weak here. Okay, so I got out at 102, just because I didn't like it's coming back this much down, and this candle has more volume coming in. I was up on that for about 5-6 cents, but that's fine. I just didn't like it. This 5-minute candle going red after it broke 106. I wanted it to basically push up for that high of day. 122, and we didn't get that right away, so I basically sold out on there, because see, now it's having trouble getting back over that 105 again, and that's what my concern was. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, 104s keep coming. There you go. 104 got some big sellers now. So you know, it was a good entry. It did have potential. It just couldn't couldn't get back up there. Let's see what happens here. Now it's back at 106, my entry point. So that's fine. So I'm just gonna pause this video. We'll come back in once something else sets up. Alright guys, so so far no other trades. RXI was the only one I have traded so far. You know, it did have potential once I got in at this break of 106 on the 5 minute, the first 5 minute to make a new high. That's when I jumped in, you know, it did move up to 112, but then it got pushed back down, and after that it just kind of been really choppy. It's range bound between this 1 to 105. Once I got in, like I said, you know, I'm not upset about this trade. I think it was a great trade because it did have potential to basically test back this 122 level, and if you know, if we would have got the same volume, you know, some good buying volume coming in, and it broke 122, you know, we could have opened this up to the 150s, and that would have been, you know, like I said, back of the mind target. But it just doesn't have that right now. CBIO is a stock that's just kind of going crazy. I don't know what's going on here. You know, on the 5 minute is super extended, no pullback there. Even on the 1 minute, you didn't really have any good clean pullback except this point right here. Show you guys. Right over here, you know, this little candle right here to pull back, and then the first candle to make a new high. That was the only pullback. That was, you know, somewhat clean. Everything else is just kind of, you know, push down, pull up, just keeps running. So I think it just got halted, if I'm not mistaken here. Yeah, I think it just got halted. But yeah, it's just one of those stocks that, you know, started picking up and started running, and there's nothing you can do about it. I obviously wasn't even watching this pre-market, although it was moving up pre-market. It never came across, I guess, on my scanner, and I never really looked at it. It does have very low float, you know, only has shares of 1 million, so I think the float is below 1 million. I don't know why it didn't show up on my scanner, but if it did, you know, pre-market would have been good to get in on the break of 8, and then just basically, yeah, you know, sell in the 10s. That would have been a good play. But right now it's in the 15s, right? So it's a crazy stock that is just running. But we're not gonna chase. Look how overextended it is on 1 minute and 5 minute. So now it's halted. We'll see what happens after the halt on this. But for now, I have no other trades. Nothing else that I like watching. PIP, not doing anything at all. So I'm just gonna remove that here from my watch list. HPJ broke the 4. It did held it earlier, but it didn't run. No volume came in, nothing happened. So I'm just gonna remove that too. RXI, nothing. NAKD popped up quickly for the break, but I just didn't jump in because it got stuffed at 255 and pulled back, and then this red candle really scared me. It was very choppy. It just dropped and then came back, dropped, came back. So I'm not staying away from that. GBR, you know, I had my thing here for a break of 265 if we broke 270, but I do like this. I feel like if basically that's all it moves, tomorrow could be a really good play on GBR if basically it makes a new high, because, you know, we get this pullback here, it makes a new high over 250. If it gets over 250 tomorrow, we could potentially see back. And look at the volume versus compared to yesterday. So it's pulling back on very low volume. I would love to see RSI basically go to the 50s today, and then tomorrow the first candle to make a high on the daily would be a good entry point, and we could potentially see it get back up to the threes. So that's what I would like to see on that. Other than that, guys, I don't really see anything else that I like. You know, even on the scanners, there is nothing that is worth. OPTT. That's the stock that likes to move. OPTT, let's bring that up. Just popped up on the scanner there. It's moving. There's volume coming in. So we'll see if you get some sort of a pullback, because it's an industrial sector. I believe CBIO is a healthcare sector. Okay, so no, not the same sector, but industrial sectors, they do tend to move sometimes. So we'll see what happens here. 257 is the 50 moving average, so we have to be careful. But let's see what happens on this pullback here. So I'll bring you guys in once if I do decide to jump in on this. Okay guys, I got in at CBIO, only 50 shares at 1649. I think I bought it a little too high, but I think it was the 5-minute setup, and I'm just waiting to see if it can get back up there. If we can get back up to 1650 here, I'll see what happens. There you go. There you go. It's coming back up there. I'm trying to get out. I think I got in too high and it might not have that, so I'm gonna see if I can get out in the 1630s. There you go. I just got out. That's okay. I didn't feel comfortable with it. I still lost $9. I don't know how. Well, I guess I got in at 1649 out of 1631. Oh, there you go. It's popping back up here. I got in on this one first 5 minute here, and I just needed it to basically spike. Once it didn't, I just didn't feel comfortable. I'm just glad that I didn't get out in the 15s. I'm glad that I got out in the I only lost 10 cents on like 50 shares. So I mean, it definitely could have been worse. But yeah, anyways, I'm done for now. I won't be taking any more trades. CBIO, just an attempt. I was like, you know what, I'll get in on the first 5-minute setup, because that'll be the first 5-minute pullback basically, and then the first 5 minute to make a new high I would get in. But I think it's just way overextended and might needs a lot more consolidation before it runs again. So that's fine. No worries there. I managed my loss. I didn't panic once it dropped back to the 15s, or back to the 16, sorry, once I got in at 1649. I didn't panic, and that's okay. Now it's still kind of coming back up. It could potentially run here, it could start spiking here, but I just didn't feel comfortable with that stock. I just the spreads, the way it's moving, for me right now, where my account is, where my confidence is just not something I would want to hold on to. It would have been good if I got in the 14s here, but again, there was no setup, so I didn't get in. I waited for a setup, 5-minute setup. You know what, most likely, if this was to work out, I would have looked back and be like, oh man, that was such a perfect 5-minute setup, I should have taken it. And that's what I did. I just didn't want to hesitate and be like, oh, I should have taken it, or I didn't take it, because if I would have done that and it moved back up to the 1778, broke that, went to the 20s from that 5-minute setup, I would have just been like, oh man, I knew I should have taken it. But I took it, didn't work out. Look, in the 1660s now. It's still running here, or still, there you go, there it goes. So yeah, it didn't work out right away, but it is moving up, it's forming that trend. I just didn't personally feel comfortable staying in that trade once I saw, once I got in at 1649 and I saw it go down to 15, or go down to like 1590. I just didn't feel, I was just like, nope, that's too much of a cent loss, and I just don't feel comfortable taking it. So I stayed away. It's over 17 now. So we could potentially see it get back up to high of day, which is 1778, and most likely it will break it because the stock has strength. There you go, now it's really running. So I got in at 1649. It's already a point from there. There you go. Look at that, just broke 18. And see, that's something I was looking for. It just didn't happen right away, and I decided to sell, and that's all right. I mean, obviously looking back, it's just kind of like, oh man, I wish I would have held it for like 2 more minutes. I could have been up $50, or maybe even $100 here if it goes up to over 1840. There you go. So it, in the hindsight, it's just always like, oh man, if only I could have held it for a bit longer. But also, it could have been a disaster. It could have just, not move, and next thing you know, it's at, $15 and I'm trying to get out, So looking back, obviously things make more sense, but that's all right. Like I said, I'm done for the day. I need to get better at certain things. I know the stock's gonna move. It just, most of the times I don't get in at the right entry point or at the right time when it is going to move, and that's what cost me sometimes small losses. Same thing happened with HTGM yesterday or last week. It just kept moving, and every time I would get in, it just wouldn't be right, and I wouldn't hold it long enough because I was trying to protect myself from a bigger loss, and next thing you know, I'm usually down. So anyways, we'll pack it up here, guys. I'll do my journalizing, review these trades. I think down about $25 on the day after all the fees. So not a bad way to start the week, but I mean, it's not in the green, what I would have liked to see. With CBIO moving today, maybe tomorrow we'll have some potential runners that would give us better entries, better play, I guess. So we'll keep an eye on it, see what happens. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys tomorrow.